50 seconds into the drive, down the road, the lights come on. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm getting pulled over for my first time. Here we go.
Now I gotta ride or die.
So I feel like when you're growing up, there are a few different avenues you can take with your first car. For me, I was more about the looks more than anything. Because insurance was so expensive, I wanted to get into something that was cheap to run 100%. I'd come from motorbikes, so I was sort of, not necessarily over the speed thing, but I'd sort of done it. I'd done the whole, accelerating to silly figures very, very quickly, and the aspect of driving, I never got that speed until I was sort of later in life, got an RS3, 500 horsepower. It's not the same as a motorbike, but when you're a bit younger, the fastest you're ever going to go is on a motorbike. And when I was 18, 19, I'd sort of done it. So moving on into my first car when I was 19 years old, passing my test. I actually passed my test in a Vauxhall Corsa. I think it was a 1.4 twin port. Now, I couldn't afford the insurance on a twin port. Although I wanted that car, I couldn't afford to insure it and run it. We're going back years and years now. This is a point in your life where you're migrating from being cold on a motorbike, but it is the most exhilarating experience and it's insanely fast. You would sort of quite like not getting wet on the way to work. So after having a motorbike accident, I just hang my gloves up, hang my helmet and say, do you know what, it's time for a car. So I moved on into a car, passed my test in the Corsa, and naturally wanted a Corsa then, driving one and enjoying it for my test and my, every lesson before that. I just thought that was the right way to go, and thankfully, about 10 minutes away from me, one popped up. It was a 2003 Vauxhall Corsa active 1 litre 3-cylinder. It's like 60 horsepower. Slowest thing you could probably get as your first car. It was heavy, it was slow, it wasn't a base model, it had electric windows and stuff, which was nice, but the intention was to always do something with it. And I actually bought it with the Ultra Blue paint with Ultra Blue 17-inch Wolf Race wheels, which if you look back now, that's such an odd thing to do, but I feel like it sort of was quite quirky at the time, and I thought, yeah, this is really cool, let's buy it. I actually bought that car with about 28,000 miles on for around, I think it was £1,600 at the time. Now, naturally, you're going to want to do stuff as an automotive enthusiast in your younger age. I feel like definitely buying that car and having a bit more maybe disposable income, because the insurance and the fuel and stuff wasn't as much, it made me want to do more to the vehicle, and that's exactly what I did. At the time, it is a very different time from now. Everybody seems to follow trends when they grow up. I feel like that's the way it is, especially if you're in the automotive sector. Just before I got my first car, the max power era was the biggest thing. It was sort of being phased out when I really got into my car. I still wanted to put a body kit on it, but at the time, body kits were still expensive. You had to respray your car, whatever it was. And Euro was a really big thing. And I decided to go down that route. Small multi-spoke wheels with a dish and lowering the car, putting some funky, wrap on it, putting a funky interior in it. That was the whole idea of sort of what I believe was the Euro scene. Now, one of the biggest things was, at the time, I feel, was, and this is from personal experience, actually putting German plates on your car to make it look Euro. Now, that was the big thing, making it look Euro. I decided to go for press plates at the time, thought it was a great idea. Everyone was running press plates on their VWs. No one was really doing the whole German plate though. So, and when I talk German plates, I mean genuine German writing. It didn't have the sort of two markers you would get in Germany, but it had the D with the stars going around. They were press plates, and I put them on for 2 weeks, went out, took pictures. It was really cool. I know it sounds really silly now, but back then, I feel like everybody, when you were younger, that was sort of the thing to do, was do something a little bit different. And at the time, I thought Euro look was the right thing to do. 2 weeks, great time. Taking pictures, loved it. And I remember coming up, I'm on my way to my friend's house, I'm coming up to a roundabout, and I've stopped. And a police car has slowly come out of the other side. He's wanting to go on the first left of the roundabout, and I'm on the first left of the roundabout sort of coming out. So as he's come to here, I've sort of driven past, and he's made a beeline round the roundabout behind me. And I was like, I haven't pulled out in front of him because he's indicating to go that way, and he's way round the roundabout. We're talking a big roundabout here, like, you know, a proper big roundabout. So he's literally the other side, but he's obviously noticed from the other side of the roundabout something's not right. So as I'm driving in me 1 litre, just doing like 40 mile an hour and a 50 because it wouldn't go anywhere. I'm driving down the road and I've clocked the police car. I'm like, this is the first time I'm going to get pulled over as a young person. Like, I've been pulled over on motorbikes, not necessarily for driving like an idiot or whatever, but in packs, you would usually get pulled over. You would get some sort of police interaction. Never anything negative, because I appreciate what the police do. It's, you know, it's something I could never do. Yeah, he pulls up behind me. I'm driving. And I can sort of notice in the rearview mirror, he's starting to sort of ask questions to probably dispatch or whatever it is he's talking to at the time. And bearing in mind at this point, the car was lowered, wheels, dish wheels. It wasn't crazy low, it wasn't crazy wide or anything, but it did look different. It did look out there. It had bright green wheels on a blue car. I mean, what is that about? I look back now and think that was an interesting point in my life, because I'd probably never do anything like that again. So he's driving behind me, and lo and behold, 40 seconds, 50 seconds into the drive down the road, the lights come on. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm getting pulled over for my first time. Here we go. And I'm driving, pull into a lay-by. 10, 15 seconds after the lights go on. No, sirens or anything, just lights. Pulled in, I composed myself. I'm like, right, first time I'm getting pulled over. Here we go. This is way before YouTube, way before anything. The window goes down. He's like, hello, sir, how are we? I was like, yeah, good, thank you. He's like, I've just seen you at the roundabout. And I said, yeah. He said, I've noticed your car, and it says HW, which is Hampshire White, believed to be Hampshire White, so Hampshire in the UK. The number plates would go HW03, some random letters at the end. So mine was HW03 CTZ. He said, I looked at the number plate and it said Hampshire Isle of Wight 03, but it had a German writing and a German D with the stars next to the number plate. I've got to ask why you've done that. And I sort of stupidly smirked and said, oh, well, at this point, I feel like European looking cars are the thing to have. It's a cool thing to have. So I thought European, German, VW. I own a Vauxhall, that's not the point. But that's the sort of look. So I thought, I'll get some German style plates with my original number plate on and put them on the car. Not really knowing the ins and outs at that point of how number plates really worked, just knowing full well that they were probably hit and miss on the illegal side, but thought I'd be able to get away with it. You know how it is, we're young. So yeah, he sort of stepped back, looked round the front of the car, and he said, come back to me. And he said, but it's Hampshire Isle of Wight registered. Why have you done that? And I sat there and had to explain to him for the next couple of minutes the European car scene, why I would do such a thing, and why I thought I'd get away with it. He just was sort of like smiling because he thought it was funny, and the oddest thing, and he said, I've genuinely never pulled someone over with number plates from a different place that's registered to the UK. He just baffled him, and I started to sort of think, yeah, that is pretty weird actually. That's weird that I've done that. So yeah, he sort of said, listen, I'm not a traffic cop, but I'm going to advise you right now. I'm going to let you go. I know that this is, one of those things. You obviously keep your car nice. It's, clean. It's, MOT, tax. You've got insurance, proper insurance for all your mods. Could you take the number plates off as soon as you can? Because I will be lenient, but the traffic won't be lenient about this. They'll definitely, do something about it. Even if they just give you a number plate fine, it will be a number plate fine, but they could do you for something else, like impersonating a car from a different country, something like that. And I've sort of gone, wow, that's quite bad actually. Like, I didn't think of that at the time. Obviously, these days, you probably wouldn't do that, or if you did, you'd get caught straight away. ANPR's a thing now, and there is cameras everywhere. Back then, there really wasn't, late 2000s, 2010, 2011 onwards. I don't feel like there was too many cameras at the time, especially where I live on the Isle of Wight. Don't feel like it was a big thing. And he just said, at the end of the day, I'm not going to do you. I don't understand what you've done. And if traffic see you, you are going to get done. And you're probably going to get done worse than you'll think you're going to get done. So I immediately pulled some number plates out of my boot when I got to my friend's house. He actually let me go. He let me go though. He let me, on my way, pull my number plates out, my original ones, and stuck them on straight away. So yeah, that is the story of the first time I ever got pulled over in my car with illegal number plates on.